Bada bing, bada boom, baby. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? What's up, Dave?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, bro. When you sent me the topic for today's podcast, I thought we were a little bit bonkers, but all right, dude.
I'm always a little bit bonkers.
Let's break it down real quick.
Right.
We see crazy amounts of money being invested in sports all around the world, but especially here in the United States.
Sure.
And you said there's a recent article about the Saudi investment firm, maybe
It's Crown Prince. It's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Solomon bin, I forget his name.
It's Mohammed bin Salman.
Mohammed bin Salman. So,
you know what? I'm horrible at names, so
but
forgive me if I butcher that horribly.
But like, so basically, they're going to continue to pour more money into
Sure.
sports.
Sure.
And go ahead.
He just talks about gross domestic product a lot during this article and during the Fox News interview. I'm not, a huge Fox News fan, but the interview was pretty interesting. He talked about gross domestic product. He said that last year by adding soccer and the guys that he did, his gross domestic product grew 1%. And he said he doesn't really care if people call it sports washing. He doesn't care, because if he can help his country grow another 1.5% gross this next year, then it's worth it, whatever money he puts into it. And then it made me start thinking, like, what else is out there that, would be a globalized sport that you have to sit there and say, okay, I'm concerned that he's going to start looking into, the Crown Prince is going to start looking into other places to invest,
All right. So that's where we set the stage. Now, obviously, this could have plenty of implications for like a team like the Thunder or the NBA in general. That's what we like to talk about the most. I mean, obviously, it could be other sports too, but let's focus mostly on what we care about.
I want to highlight your idea of what you thought, because I think that's a really good place to start.
All right. So if you were to talk about the potential threat it could have, like this type of thing could have to a team like the Thunder, imagine if we don't get this stadium deal done, right? This is just pure hypothetical, right? And we're sitting in a spot where the team is in a similar spot where Seattle was. And now you have a huge investment firm worth over $1 trillion who can come in and buy the team for twice as much as it's worth on paper, right? Move it to a place that is going to make it instantly worth twice as much. Sit on the team for 25 years and see the investment go from, say, $5 billion to all the way up to, 10, I don't know, 11. 10, 11, 12 billion, which would be a hell of a return. So that's a hypothetical worst case scenario. Obviously, fear mongering is the name of the game right now. But that wasn't, I like how you got me to tell mine first, because I wasn't coming in here planning on doing that.
No, but it's true, because like if you think about it, like we saw it with the Brooklyn Nets. You had a I forget his name that bought the Brooklyn Nets from Russia
owner,
yeah, and you saw him invest in that. So it's not uncommon for a somebody from a different country to invest. Now,
right?
Where to me, I stop and I have to think about it is that what the Crown Prince Mohammed is saying here, in my opinion, is he's basically saying that 1.5% on his GDP, right? Gross domestic product. Like, to me, that means he's trying to add something bigger than golf, bigger than, I mean, it's crazy to say, but bigger than, football, like football. This is soccer. Like, this is what I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what else can he invest in? And that's when that gets to me, is like if he decided that he wanted to take, let's just say $5 billion, and he wanted to invest it into making a NBA, modern day NBA for Saudi Arabia, how many players do you think they could take away from the NBA?
So, like, go back to the ABA style, but you're saying they prop up their league with, I don't know, enough to pay a player. But here's the thing. Here's the math, right? What is a player like that might be able to be poached for pure basketball? Say we saw this happen with a player like Giannis, right?
Sure. Giannis has a contract year coming up. They offer him $250 million for 1 year.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, how can a player say that he's about to go play for 5 years, $250 million, say no to a contract that they can take 1 year off and go play for $250 million for a Saudi Arabia team? That's, you know, you
I mean,
you
who
get a
would do
year to
that, though?
dominate. Like, I would have a hard time saying no to that. I think any athlete would
Do
have
you
a hard
think that
time
the
saying no.
Saudi league is set up enough where they could benefit that much from having a player, or do you?
I think, I'll tell you what, this is what I think. I think there's going to be start rumbles about February. You're going to start hearing rumbles. Like, people are like, hey, be careful about this. We're hearing stuff. I think in April, it's going to come to fruition that this is for real. And I think during the NBA finals, I think it's going to be one of those things that breaks. Okay. And they're going to use it methodically because they're going to use their time in Paris to be able to recruit everybody they need to.
Dave, here's the problem, okay? Like, honestly, I didn't want to talk to you about this when you sent this to me. Not only that, we got on and we talked and I was like, dude, I don't think we can do this. Like, this is not. But now that I'm thinking about it, okay, and you're starting to open my mind to what you're saying, okay, which I don't.
But
like.
I don't want to. I want to keep you the negative.
No, here's what I'm going to say, though. Here's what I'm going to say. What if instead of it being like, because right now I keep being like, where else would Giannis go? Like,
Sure.
Like, honestly, where would he go? So if it wasn't between staying in Milwaukee or going to a different NBA team, if it was about staying in Milwaukee and getting paid for 4 years of playing in Saudi Arabia, $1 billion, then that would be kind of a different equation that I haven't even considered, because I've been thinking, I can't think of another team in the NBA he would go to, but it's like, shit, dude, I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean,
know.
That's what some of these guys, these golf guys ended up like kind of like pretending like, oh, I'm against that. I'll never do that. And then they were like, don't forget me.
I think of Happy Gilmore, like all those guys all of a sudden they realize that they're behind.
So is Giannis a big enough draw? Is he a Messi? Is he a
No? The Messi for this is going to be LeBron James. Let's just be honest. LeBron James at the end of his career, they pick a player that is the player of the century, the player of whatever decade, whatever you want to call it, and they pay him a lot of money. Why? Because it's the ambassador.
Okay. What, dude?
All right. So the only way this works. The only way it works, though, is you have to get a name like LeBron to be your front runner. It's what they did with Fred Couples.
Okay, would LeBron be willing to give up on his legacy? Like, because every point scored in Saudi Arabia doesn't count for him in the NBA.
If LeBron James comes out and says he's retiring, right, from the NBA, and he's done with the NBA, okay, and a team like a Saudi Arabia investment company comes in and says, "Hey, listen, maybe you play one more year." And he's like, no way. But look at what they almost paid. Look at what almost paid Messi.
How much? For 1 year
they almost
paid
Messi $300 million, bro.
Okay, how much for 1 year of LeBron James?
$500
million.
$500 million.
So
I'm telling you, like,
how much has he made playing in the NBA up to this point?
700 something.
You think it's that much? I don't think it's that much.
I mean, he's at three massive contracts.
I'll look it up. You talk for a second.
All right. No, here's the thing. It comes down to it. Like, in my opinion, is that if you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, you look at what they offered Messi, right? You look at how they got the golf guys. They gave him, like, some of the guys $200 million contracts. Like,
so it's just stupid Google answer, but it says his total career earnings are $431 million. So you're saying they could offer him, and they theoretically could offer him enough money to pay for all of the money that he earned in the NBA combined for playing just one season of half-assed basketball.
It's what they did with Cristiano Ronaldo. It's what they were about to do with Messi. Like, these guys made $400 million, and they just made, like, Cristiano Ronaldo's playing 2 years for almost $500 million.
Kind of like the opposite of, like, seeing a player like Stephon Marbury way past his prime trying to make it in the G League or something.
I'm serious. Like, think about this.
But then he went to China. Bro, he made a bang load of money in China.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Steph Curry, these other guys that are sitting there watching LeBron make about $500 million. They'll look at Giannis making X amount of money. They'll be like, wait a second here. They'll watch Cristiano Ronaldo retire with the extra 250 million a year that he's making, or 200 and something million a year that he's making, and then they'll be like, damn, he just moved back to his hometown in Portugal, and look at what he's doing with that money now. You know, like, this is billionaire shit, bro. This is what every fucking player has dreamed about their entire life, is a cash payday like this. I mean, I dream about it. You can't help but dream about it. In 5, I mean, think about LeBron James, 20 years in the NBA. And he could get to a point where in 1 year, he makes that salary.
It makes it feel like monopoly money.
Well, that's what it is right now for them. He's trying to increase his GDP, bro. That's what it's all about. If he can increase at 1.5%, that's $1 trillion for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is monopoly money. It is for him. And that's why if you look at what he's trying to say in the interviews, he doesn't care what people call it. It's sports washing. He doesn't care. He's more focused on making sure his country is set up longevity. He's not focused about anything else. And because of that, he has there is no point for him to say, okay, what will LeBron James, look at what Cristiano Ronaldo did for my name and for our country. What will LeBron James do for that? And on top of that, as he's playing at the Paris Olympics, it breaks. What would that do? That would take his GDP and go
and make it a pretty huge dick, dude. PhD.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, this is why I have to stop.
PhD.
And I'm wondering, at what point does the Crown Prince turn his head towards the NBA, and how will that affect the Thunder? Because you're right. If they buy a Thunder team and they move them to Seattle, they move them to Las Vegas, they move them to blank, that right there will increase it double. But
that's like I said, that's the shit I don't even want to think about. And you made me talk about it first, but like now you're making me think about it, and I'm like, I don't want to see this other stuff happen. And honestly, if LeBron was like, I know I'm not going to win a championship with this fucking team,
I know. And there's nowhere I can go.
Bombs out there in Los Angeles.
Look at Oklahoma City. They're not going to let anybody else come in that group right there. I'm telling you guys, Oklahoma City's for real. If you don't think Oklahoma City's not going to win a championship in the next 5 years, you're crazy.
That's what I want to talk about, bro. I was all pumped up. Let's talk about Shea. Let's talk about the Thunder. Let's talk about making a deep playoff run. And you're all like
the investments, bro,
on my little fire, dude. Like, damn, dude.
Hey, listen.
I don't even want to know where you came up with this idea, because this is depressing as hell, dude. This is like the worst case scenario.
Okay. All right. Let's just lay this out.
None of our friends are in the chat. Oh, there we go, Moani. Finally, thank you for showing up. We appreciate this. But
Moani, they're gonna have one in the next 5 years.
There we go.
So
now we're talking about something good, Dave.
That's, to me, like, I look at this, and you have to look at the whole idea of where the NBA is morphing to.
Do we? Or can we just play around like we're stupid?
Why do you think these new TV contracts are going to all of a sudden be a bigger deal on how much players get paid? Because the closer we get to $100 million a year for the stars, the better it is for the NBA, guaranteeing that nobody's going to leave.
What about Ja? If Ja got suspended again, could it be like, I'm bouncing, bro. I'm going to go get $2 billion.
Dude,
like
but
10 years at $250 a year. Get a couple bills.
But that's what I'm saying. And then he could do whatever he wants over there and never have to worry about it. My point.
I think he could pretty well get away with all the stuff he's not getting away with here. Who cares 100%. If you post a picture with a gun on there? What are you going to go get you kicked out of the league?
And you got to look at players like the guys that I've always looked at for the extra dollar, like Jimmy Butler. You got to look at players like that. Like, you got to sit down. I look at the players that we've watched in the FIBA. There's players from Germany there that I would say that considered like, hey, Franz Wagner, like, you get an offer a contract for $100 million. Like, you go to Kessler, you go to all these other players that are
just like the overall cost of launching a league. When you're like, is it worth
$10 billion? It would have cost to launch a league.
I mean, I know they probably already have some sort of league.
What's $10 billion to the
It's
Prince?
just
Like
about bringing in
$100?
like competition for LeBron to line up against.
No, but I'm serious though. Think about this: $10 billion is about how much for the Saudi crown prince is probably $100 for us. Is $10 billion for him? Like,
I mean,
the combination of, like, for me, if I pulled $100 out of my wallet, he could pull $10 billion out of his and put it on the table and say that's about the same amount.
Okay.
So, like, if you're looking at it like that, to me, like, that's why, nothing is safe as far as when it comes to, United States sports at this point.
It's like a bad dream, dude.
It's a bad dream. But my point about this is that how does this
What
affect the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Away at the end of his career to like
What?
some other. What if Babe Ruth left the Major League Baseball at the end of his career to go play in Canada?
But how does this affect the Oklahoma City Thunder, bro?
I hope it doesn't.
If this next year, right? If this next year it clears the deck of a few players, it makes the Oklahoma City Thunder even more favorable to win a championship. I mean, and that's where I think that we have to take a step back, because we have this young team that's not focused on this $1 billion idea yet. Like, they're focused on winning. You see Shea, he's upset not winning. He's passionate about winning. He doesn't give a shit about the money right now. He's letting everybody else worry about the money. He wants to win. And when you have that
nice contract,
it changes, bro. Nothing's happening for the Oklahoma City. We have everybody. There's nobody leaving.
Yeah.
Like, we've got everybody in rookie scale contracts.
I hope
it doesn't change the Thunder at all,
dude. But I mean, in the end, like, if you talk about the value of like individual, like global superstars in team sports, like, it's really hard to argue after, obviously football, soccer. I mean, like, yeah, we're right there.
What about Luka? Would he leave for $500 million a year?
He would leave if they gave him all the calls. He'd do it for the same price. I promise you.
He wants the rest dressed in bikinis.
What's up? You want to say hi?
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark. Hi.
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chips.
Chocolate chips.
Did you want to potty? You went potty?
Hooray.
Did you go pee?
One chocolate chip.
One chocolate chip?
One
2 chocolate chips? 3 chocolate chips?
chip.
5 chocolate chips?
Yeah.
Good job. Did you go pee or poop? You go
Pee.
not pee? Okay.
Pee.
Pee? Okay. Good. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All
No, I know it's crazy, but when he said 1.5, he wants to increase this next year 1.5. That's when I knew it was something bigger, something else, and I'm like, what else is there? Like, what else is he going to go in and zero in on?
Well, I don't know.
Why if you wanted to start a second NBA of sorts, right? When would be the best time to start it?
I mean, look, it's really hard for me to like imagine all this shit. But at the same time, I'll say this. Before what happened with golf happened, I would have said that the PGA had as much of a monopoly as anybody really could hope to achieve. So
sports.
I can't say anything is safe. But it's really hard for me to predict this stuff because it's just like, I don't see it coming. But I do see it coming, though.
I see
preseason game 1 against the Spurs October 9th, 18 days away. But anyway,
let's talk about this. Our next episode, guys, we're going to break it down. We're going to break it down what we think the Thunder are going to do this next year. We're going to break it down how far in the playoffs are going to get. We're going to talk about why we think that Shea is going to be the leader in the MVP voting this next year. So definitely stay tuned for that. We're pretty excited about that.
Anybody listened all the way through to this depressing thing, then we hope you'll join us tomorrow too.
See you guys.
Bye.